Now let's look at grid settings in Flash 8. These are pretty straightforward settings for the most part, but Flash does give us a few extra cool options not usually found in other design applications. First, we'll need to turn the grid on, and we do this by choosing View, Grid, and Show Grid. The keyboard shortcut for this on a PC is Control and single quotation mark, and for the Macintosh it's Command single quotation. Now notice that once I turn this on, nothing changes in my document. This is because Flash puts the grid behind everything else on your stage, and I'm not using a solid color for a background. I'm using a gradient filled object. So I'll turn the visibility off, and there's our grid. Let's have a look at our grid options. Choose View again, Grid, and Edit Grid. Our first option here is the color. Click that and you can change it to anything you like. You can also set the alpha or transparency of the grid. Next, we have an option here to turn the grid on or off, just like the View menu, and also turn snapping on and off. Here's where we control the dimensions of the grid cells. I can change that to 50, and immediately we see the results here. Change that to 50 as well, and so on. Now here is where the extra options come in. Flash allows us to control the snap accuracy, and you should be getting used to this by now because it works in the same way as a lot of the other snapping options we've been looking at. We have Must Be Close, Normal, Can Be Distant, and Always Snap. The Always Snap option is a little bit interesting. I'll set this and start drawing some objects. I'll zoom in a step or two for this. I'll grab the rectangle tool, and you can start drawing clear out here. You can see that Flash automatically snaps it to the upper left corner of this grid cell. Now as I move the mouse cursor down, Flash automatically snaps to the edges of that cell. Now this is kind of cool if you want to quickly create a checkerboard pattern. Now this doesn't always work this way, because if you do it just right, you can click and drag and not snap to the grid cell. Of course, if you're going to do this, you might as well just choose View, Grid, Edit Grid again, and change it to normal. Remember that we can also turn grid snapping on and off quickly by choosing View, Snapping, and Snap to Grid here. Or even quicker by hitting Control, Shift, and single quotation on a PC, or Command, Shift, single quotation on a Macintosh. And finally, you can save all of your settings here as the Flash default, so that when you open Flash again and create a new document, Flash uses all of these settings. And that's it for the grid settings in Flash 8.